and agroforestry as a viable and profitable. The forestry sector presents a golden opportunity to our citizens for not only to contribute.
Welcome.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary and CS for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, and my boss, the chairman and board members of ABSA Kenya, led by my very good friend Charles Muchane, Chief Executive and Managing Director, ABSA Kenya, Abdi Mohammed, distinguished guests, esteemed stakeholders, members of the Fourth Estate, our Chief Forest Conservator, Professor Joho, all of you, welcome to Karura Forest, our home. So you are our very important guests this morning, and we host between 7 to 10 million Kenyans every week, but every weekend. In a month, we host about between 70 to 80,000 Kenyans come to Karura Forest. So it's a great pleasure for me to join you on this very important, momentous occasion as we launch the ABSA Kenya Foundation. And I'm particularly delighted that we chose Karura Forest as the venue of this event. Karura Forest is truly the jewel in our country's conservation efforts, embodying the principles of environmental protection that we shall all strive to uphold. But let me take this early opportunity to thank the entire leadership of ABSA Kenya for their recent invitation during their launch of the 2023 Sustainable Report. Although I could not attend due to other official duties, I think I was ably represented by Dr. Ngeno, who is our PS, Environment and Climate Change. And I want to commend ABSA Kenya for its very strong commitment to integrating sustainability into your business operation and working towards a sustainable future for our planet, for our communities, and for future generations. With today's launch of ABSA Kenya Foundation, you now have even a more bigger, greater platform to collaborate with other stakeholders in advancing a very impactful, a deliberate effort to be a force for good. And I understand that the foundation has identified entrepreneurship, education, natural resource management, and health as its key focus areas. These are very crucial pillars that align with our shared vision of improving the quality of life for our communities across our country. As we gather here today, we are reminded that sustainability is no longer a choice, but a necessity. Natural resource management, whether in the context of forest, water bodies, land use, our marine diversity, requires our collective multi-stakeholder approach if we are to secure a healthy planet for future generations. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry commends the private sector in our country for its proactive commitment to climate action. Together through various policies and initiatives, we are working towards fostering a green economy, enhancing climate resilience, and promoting sustainable land management practices. In the context of our national agenda as a government and people, sustainability is imperative. The Kenya government, through the initiative such as the 15 billion tree growing program, and Abdi, I think you need to increase from 10 million to about 50 million. Because we need to plant 1.5 billion every year in the next 10 years. As of today, we are at 481 million. So before December, I have a work to do. I have to, by the close of December 31st, inshallah, as me and Professor and the many other actors, we must plant 1.5. Our neighbors, Ethiopia, have done 32.1 billion. And we must clap for them. Prime Minister Abiy has done a good work. President William Ruto is the chairman of African heads of state and government on climate change. So he's leading from the front. And the minister was telling me, you need to go to pre-COP 29, not because you are the minister for environment Kenya, but you are the minister for environment in charge of Africa, representing the chairman. So I think the private sector plays very well. And we are going to have a scorecard where we're going to have an event where we are going to showcase and give them the presidential award schemes to the best of our private sector players in helping us restore our ecosystem, restore our marine ecosystem. In the context of our national agenda, sustainability is imperative. So the 15 billion growing program aims to increase our forest cover, which is now at 10.3% to 30% by 2032. This is a very ambitious goal. And it's not just about planting trees. It's about restoring the ecosystem. We don't call it planting, we call it growing. You can plant a tree and it dies tomorrow. So we say it's growing, not planting. But it's more about our ecosystem. It's more about mitigating the climate change. And it's more about creating sustainable livelihoods for our communities. However, we recognize this target cannot be achieved by government alone. And the Prime Cabinet Secretary will agree with me. Every Cabinet Secretary has a day to plant trees and has a county. From the President to the head of public service. One day, with their staff, they must go to the locations we have allocated for them in our various 47 counties, and they go and plant. I don't know which day I have allocated the Prime Cabinet Secretary, because my biggest worry is he's always moving. So he has a choice to plant maybe the one weekend that is in the country. It's the only one we have given him a leeway. We need the private sector now to step up, not just as partners, but as key drivers of innovation and scalable solution. And in this regard, I want to commend APSA Kenya for its commendable initiative to grow the 1.2 million trees to date, with a goal of reaching 10 million by 2032, subject to review, after consulting the chairman and Abdi. But for now, we are very happy with the 10 million. Collaborative efforts like this between government and the private sector will be instrumental in realizing the ambitious 15 billion trees by 2032. And we are open to further dialogue. We are open to collaboration, and we are open to joint initiatives that can amplify our collective impact on the ground. The rural resource management pillar of your foundation is of a particular interest, and you can count on our support as government to continue to drive this agenda. The potential for Kenya's forestry sector is enormous, and I urge the private sector, especially the banking industry, to consider commercial forestry and agroforestry as a viable and profitable. The forestry sector presents a golden opportunity to our citizens for not only to contribute to environmental conservation, but also drive economic growth and job creation. Let us take inspiration from countries like Finland, where the forestry industry contributes significantly to the economy, making up to 20% of their export revenue. Finland model demonstrates how sustainable forest management, coupled with innovative industrial process, can turn forestry into a key economic pillar. Similarly, Sweden and Brazil boast of their robust forestry industries that are vital for economic development. Here in Kenya, we have the potential to do the same. Commercial forestry, whether for timber production or wood processing or export, can create thousands of jobs for our young people. Banks and institutions such as ABSA have a very, very unique and important role to play in promoting these sectors. You can facilitate access to capital, provide financial products tailored to forest-based enterprise. Chebet, I think your Sally needs forests and trees. Yeah? Without, where do the bees go to? So there must be trees and there must be forest. So we must practice, we must improve the practice that improves